Hello, friends and acquaintances. This is Chris Palmer coming to you on February 14th, 2020, Valentine's Day, and I'm here to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic that is happening right now, whether we like it or not. And I just wanted to make a vlog to increase awareness about this with the people I know. This epidemic is the most severe medical situation that I know of since the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. We are seeing a possible, and I say possible, bioweapons attack going on here. And China and some other powers may be behind it. There may be an economic reason for it, or there could be a genocidal reason for it. But what everybody should know is that in Wuhan, there are two virological research centers that also have bioweapons divisions attached to them that became active a couple of years ago. What are the chances that this new strain of virus just happens to show up in the same city by accident through a bat or a snake? I've seen that there have been studies done of the genetic profile of COVID-19, and it looks as though there was splicing done on it of possibly parts of the HIV virus, which would be indicating an engineering situation. And if I were a bioweapons engineer, and kill me if I ever want to become one, you would want to use anything you could to increase the communicability and decrease the defenses people would have against this. So if you splice something of HIV in with it, which is an immune deficiency situation, then that would be part of a weapon. And also, I believe they put in a little bit of snake or bat DNA to kind of hide the fact that this may have been engineered. Just a theory, but also the fish market source of the virus, questionable, although I believe it was spread at the fish market. The worst case scenario is that it was spread on purpose through aerosol over all the food there. It looks like it may have happened at this banquet, which citizens tried to prevent from happening when COVID came to attention. In Wuhan, there was a neighborhood where they had thousands of people out to a public banquet with a table all laid out for them. Looks delicious. There's photographs of it, video of people walking around. But what if the people behind this virus decided to dose the entire banquet with the virus? Well, it turns out that the people who attended this banquet got more sick than most neighborhoods in Wuhan, and critically ill. People have died from the neighborhood, and nearly everybody there contracted the illness from the reports. And it would be just a incredibly evil thing to do, to taint food like that and to draw people in and to lie and to poison like they did allegedly. But the thing to remember as part of not being asleep in the world is to remember that things like this have happened before, and all you have to do is look to Adolf Hitler's strategies in World War II. I'd hate to think that China would attack its own people, but it's possible. And it may be due to population concerns with the economy. The World Health Organization has been far too forgiving of China's response to this disease. It seems as though China is doing more to spread it than they are to stop it. And I think that the World Health Organization is in bed with the powers that be, and they've really sold out here because they should be talking about the virulence of this thing, which is involves a number called the R naught, and the R naught is simply a numeral indicator based on statistics of how many people a carrier can spread the virus to before it either goes away, they die, or they're contained in isolation. And there was a study done this past week in Los Alamos, New Mexico, near where I live, and they used to think the R naught spread was between one person giving it to 2 to 3 people each, which is almost impossible to contain through human methods. But it turns out that they're looking at an R naught number of 4 to 6 transmissions to other people per patient, which is a diabolical level of spread. That leaves me to talk about the United States situation. Now, currently, as of today, the 15th case showed up in San Antonio, Texas, and they're finding these cases based on contact tracing and who has been to China. And so far, they've only found 15 people who have contact with either secondary contact with somebody who's been with China, or the primary people that have been to China are contracting this, and they're in isolation. They're being treated. It's controllable only by numbers only there. But if this R naught is as high as it's studied to be, of transferring between 4 and 6 people per patient, then just use your imagination and play the movie. These people, who are all patients now, rode on jet airplanes for hours and hours, a closed environment, crossed the ocean for 17 hours and made it to America, potentially spreading it to everyone on that plane. Now, not everyone on that plane has been detained, and even if they all were detained, before that, they would have had time to walk around the airport spreading it to all the workers, leave it on bathroom counters, in the air, shaking hands with chauffeurs, taxi drivers, and then just, there's no way to monitor it. This spreads asymptomatically, which means that you don't have to be blowing snot and looking red in the face and sneezing and coughing to spread it. There could be hundreds of thousands of people walking around carrying this to this day and not even show symptoms. And this fact is not being promoted in the media. They are in agreement with the economic system of the U.S., the commercial, the stocks, everything. They are about money. And so a news company belonging to a broadcasting firm is not going to want to scare away investors or scare people from work, because the economy will grind to a halt. And so that's something to keep in mind. The media is really watering this down. I mean, it has been the 4th or 5th story down on most major media networks, and that really bothers me. It makes me angry. There's a lot of good material on the internet which just spells it out plain and simple, like I hope to. And you should have the right to make your own decision about how you conduct your life and whether or not you want to be a spreader or not. And so I'm doing certain things to stop the spread, and I'll talk about that soon to you. But I just wanted to start there and express myself. I can't stop the virus personally, but I can help others keep from getting it and help myself and my wife. So you'll hear more from me about this, and thank you so much for listening. I hope you were able to stay with me the whole time, and I'll talk to you real soon.